The country club ballroom was decorated with silver and gold balloons. 40 years of service banners hung from the ceiling. 200 guests filled the room, celebrating my father's career at Morrison Technologies. I stood near the back with my husband James and our 2 kids, trying to keep 8-year-old Maya and 6-year-old Lucas calm. James taught 5th grade. Maya wore a Target dress. Lucas had already spilled juice on his shirt. We looked exactly like what we were, a middle-class family at a luxury event. Dad took the microphone, flushed from champagne. 40 years of building this company into a national powerhouse. The crowd applauded. My brother Kevin cheered from the front row. My sister Amanda smiled proudly in her designer dress. I've sacrificed everything for Morrison Technologies, Dad continued. His eyes found me in the back. Some sacrifices were harder than others. My eldest daughter married a public school teacher. Lives in a modest house. Drives a 7-year-old Honda. He shook his head. Your loser family ruins my retirement image. The room went quiet. Kevin laughed first. Dad's just being honest. Amanda raised her glass. To Dad's honesty. Some of us maintain the family standards. I felt Maya grip my hand. Mom, why is Grandpa being mean? It's okay, sweetie, I whispered. Dad continued. I wanted all my children here, but Sarah, you could have at least dressed the kids better. This is a professional event. James leaned close. We can leave. No. Let him finish. Dad launched into career stories, making himself the hero. He talked about his executive pension, the consulting retainer, the board seat he'd keep in retirement. $65,000 a month, he announced. That's what loyalty gets you. Kevin whistled. Amanda clapped. The new CEO personally approved my package. Called it the most generous in company history. I checked my phone. Monday morning would be different. The party continued. People approached Dad to congratulate him. Kevin worked the room, introducing himself as Richard Sullivan's son. Amanda cornered me near dessert. You could have at least tried. You embarrassed Dad. I'm wearing a dress. From where? Walmart. She smoothed her Oscar de la Renta gown. You made us all look bad. He called my family losers. If the shoe fits. She glanced at James helping Lucas. I smiled and said nothing. By 10 the kids were falling asleep. We headed for the exit, passing Dad's table. Leaving early? Dad called out. Can't afford a babysitter? Kevin snorted. The kids are tired, I said evenly. They're always your excuse. This is why you never advanced anywhere. I looked at him. You're right, Dad. I never sacrificed my family for advancement. Good night. In the car, James gripped the wheel. I've never wanted to punch someone so badly. I know. I typed a message. Monday morning. 8 a.m. sharp. Conference room A. Attendance mandatory. Richard Sullivan. Response. Confirmed. HR and legal will be present. Sunday passed slowly. Dad posted party photos on Facebook with congratulations flooding the comments. Monday morning I woke at 5:30. Put on my charcoal gray suit. James made coffee. Good luck today. Won't need it. I arrived at Morrison Technologies at 7:15. The lobby guard smiled. Good morning, Miss Sullivan. My office was on the executive floor, a corner suite overlooking the city. Patricia had coffee ready. HR and legal are waiting. Your father arrived 10 minutes ago looking confused. Perfect. Let's begin at 8 exactly. At 8 o'clock I walked into the conference room. Dad sat at the table with Kevin beside him. Our HR director, Linda Martinez, sat across from them with our chief legal counsel, David Park. Dad looked annoyed. What's this about? I got a message that attendance was mandatory. I'm retired. Nothing's mandatory anymore. Good morning, Dad. I took the seat at the head of the table. Thanks for coming in. I don't appreciate cryptic messages. I have a tea time at 9. This won't take long. I nodded to Linda. Please proceed. Linda opened her folder. Mr. Sullivan, we need to discuss your retirement package. Dad leaned back confidently. The most generous in company history. Already approved by the CEO himself. About that, I said quietly. He looked at me for the first time, really looked. He took in the suit, the position at the head of the table, the way Linda and David deferred to me. What are you doing here? He asked slowly. I work here, Dad. You said you worked in finance consulting. I do. For Morrison Technologies. Have for 12 years. Kevin frowned. Wait, you work here? In what, accounting? Not exactly. I slid a document across the table. Linda, please explain Mr. Sullivan's retirement package status. Linda cleared her throat. As of this morning, your pension and retirement benefits have been frozen pending review. Dad's face went red. Frozen? On whose authority? Mine, I said simply. You're nobody. You don't have the authority to freeze anything. David spoke up, his legal voice calm and precise. 6 months ago, Morrison Technologies underwent a leadership transition. The board of directors appointed a new CEO. That CEO has full authority over all personnel decisions, including retirement packages. I know that, Dad snapped. I've known the new CEO for years. He approved my package personally. No, I said. She didn't. The room went absolutely silent. Dad stared at me. What? The new CEO is me, Dad. I've been CEO of Morrison Technologies for 6 months. Kevin's mouth fell open. Dad looked like he'd been slapped. That's impossible, Dad said finally. You have a nothing job. I was CFO for 8 years before the promotion. Before that, VP of Financial Operations. Before that, Director of Strategic Planning. Kept my voice even. I started in the analyst program 12 years ago, right out of graduate school. Might you remember? The business degree you said was a waste because I should have just married well instead. The board wouldn't. The board voted unanimously. I increased revenue by 43% in my first 6 months. Expanded into 3 new markets. Negotiated the merger with Techline that you called impossible. Linda slid another document across. This shows the organizational chart. Sarah Sullivan, Chief Executive Officer, reports directly to the board of directors. Dad grabbed the paper, staring at it as if it might change if he looked hard enough. So Saturday night, I continued, when you told 200 people that my loser family ruins your retirement image, you were talking about the CEO who controls your pension. Kevin found his voice. This is insane. How did we not know? Bez, I didn't tell you. I kept Sullivan as my professional name but used my full legal name, Sarah Sullivan Martinez, in all company communications. None of you ever asked about my work in detail. You assumed. Dad's hands trembled on the paper. The $65,000 a month was approved by my predecessor based on your original position and contributions. However, as the new CEO, I'm required to review all executive compensation packages, especially ones that are, quote, the most generous in company history. You can't do this. I absolutely can. Linda, what did our compensation analysis show? Linda didn't need to check her notes. The standard pension for Mr. Sullivan's position and tenure would be $38,000 monthly. The approved package of $65,000 represents a 71% premium over comparable executives. And the justification for that premium? The documentation cites long-term loyalty and relationship with executive leadership. Relationship with leadership that no longer exists, I said, since I'm now the leadership, and our relationship was publicly defined Saturday as my loser family ruining your image. Dad's face had gone from red to pale. Sir, come on. I was drinking. It was a joke. Was it? Was it a joke when you called James a loser for being a teacher? Was it a joke when you said my kids dressed like poverty cases? Was it a joke when you spent 12 years telling me I wasted my potential by not marrying rich? Kevin tried to intervene. Dad didn't mean it literally. Then he'll be fine with the literal standard pension of $38,000 instead of $65,000. That's a $27,000 monthly difference, Dad said, his voice cracking. I'm aware. It's $324,000 annually. Over a 20-year retirement projection, that's $6,480,000. I met his eyes. That's what Saturday night's speech cost you. The board won't allow this. David spoke again. The board has full confidence in Ms. Sullivan's compensation decisions. In fact, they've requested she review all legacy executive packages for market alignment. Dad looked desperately at Kevin. Do something. What am I supposed to do? She's the CEO. There's more, Linda said quietly. The consulting retainer, the board seat, the executive club memberships. All of those were tied to the premium package. How much total? Dad whispered. I pulled up the spreadsheet on my tablet. Premium pension, consulting retainer, board stipend, club memberships, executive health benefits beyond standard retiree coverage. Total value of approximately $800,000 annually. And without the premium? Standard pension, standard retiree benefits. About $460,000 annually. Kevin did the math in his head. That's a $340,000 difference. Per year, I confirmed. Over 20 years, about $6.8 million. Dad slumped in his chair. You're destroying my retirement over one comment. Not one comment. 12 years of comments. 12 years of you telling me I failed because I chose teaching my husband over money. 12 years of you dismissing my career while I was building this. I gestured around the executive conference room. You never once asked what I actually did. You just assumed. I thought you worked in some entry-level finance job. I run a $4.2 billion company. I manage 8,000 employees across 6 states. I negotiate contracts worth hundreds of millions. And I do it while driving my 7-year-old Honda and living in my average neighborhood because that's where my family is happy. The door opened and Patricia stepped in. I'm sorry to interrupt, but the board meeting starts in 15 minutes. I stood. Thank you, Linda David. Please finalize the revised retirement package and send it to Mr. Sullivan for signature. Dad found one more argument. What about my reputation? People will ask why my package changed. Tell them the new CEO reviews all compensation for market alignment. That's true. Or tell them you publicly insulted the CEO's family and she adjusted accordingly. Also true. Your choice. I walked toward the door, then paused. Oh, and Dad? That country club membership you're losing, the one you've bragged about for 20 years? I'm the one who got Morrison Tech to sponsor it in the first place. 5 years ago when I was CFO. You're welcome. In the hallway, Patricia walked with me toward the boardroom. That was intense. Necessary. I checked my reflection in a window, straightening my jacket. Any other fires this morning? 3. But nothing you can't handle. The board meeting ran 2 hours. Strategic planning, merger review, expansion opportunities. I presented quarterly financials showing continued growth. Board Chair Margaret Chin stopped me afterward. Your father seemed shaken this morning. Family matter. The compensation review was appropriate. Agreed. He studied me. He really didn't know you were CEO. He never asked. His loss. You're the best CEO this company has had in 30 years. Back in my office I had 17 messages. 3 from Kevin demanding I reconsider. 2 from Amanda. 1 from my mother. None from Dad himself. I deleted them all and called James. How did it go? He asked. He knows now. And? His pension dropped by $27,000 a month. That's a lot of money. It's market standard for his position. Every other executive gets the same. Still feels personal. It is personal. He humiliated us in front of 200 people. He called you a loser, our kids poorly dressed. I looked out at the skyline. He did that to the person controlling his retirement. Do you feel better? I feel fair. He'll still get $460,000 a year. He just won't get rewarded for cruelty. That evening I picked up the kids like always. Made dinner, helped with homework. Our routine unchanged. At bedtime Maya asked, "Did you fix the thing with Grandpa?" I addressed it, yes. Good. You shouldn't let people be mean to you. You're absolutely right. After the kids were asleep, James and I sat on the back porch. Kevin texted me, he said. Called me some names. Said you're destroying the family. What did you say? I said his dad destroyed himself by insulting a CEO to her face, and maybe the family should have asked questions before making assumptions. I smiled. I love you. I love you too, loser family and all. 3 weeks later, Dad signed the revised retirement package. He had no choice. The original offer expired and the standard package was all that remained. Amanda stopped speaking to me entirely. Kevin sent one final message calling me petty and vindictive before blocking my number. Mom called once. Was it worth it? Breaking up the family over money? I didn't break up anything. I just stopped subsidizing people who hate me. He doesn't hate you. He called my family losers in front of 200 people. At minimum, he doesn't respect me. Why should I reward that? She had no answer. Morrison Technologies thrived. Q4 exceeded projections. The Techline merger completed ahead of schedule. Industry publications ran features about the youngest female CEO in the tech sector. Dad saw the Forbes article. I know because Mom mentioned it. He says congratulations, she told me stiffly. Tell him thanks. He wants to have lunch. Talk about things. I'm booked through March. I wasn't lying. Running a $4 billion company doesn't leave much time for family reconciliation, especially with family members who need to lose $6 million before they consider apologizing. Maya asked once if we'd see Grandpa at Christmas. Probably not this year, sweetie. Because he was mean? Because he hasn't learned yet that being mean has consequences. Will he learn? I thought about Dad in his reduced retirement, watching other executives get the packages he'd lost, knowing his daughter controlled all of it. Maybe, I said. People can learn. If they want to. 6 months after the retirement party, my assistant forwarded an email. Dad had written to my corporate address, formal and stiff. Dear Miss Sullivan, I would appreciate the opportunity to discuss my retirement package at your convenience. Respectfully, Richard Sullivan. I stared at it for a long time. Then I hit delete and went back to work. The loser family had a company to run. The July heat shimmered over my pool as family gathered for our annual barbecue. My daughter Lily, 14, sat at the patio table working on a digital art project. She'd saved for months to buy the $1,400 laptop herself. My sister Jennifer arrived with her daughter Amber, 17, who immediately went to the pool with her phone. Lily had her headphones on, designing a logo for a local nonprofit, her first paid freelance project. I was manning the grill when I heard the splash. Amber stood at the pool's edge. Lily's laptop floated face down before sinking. Oops, Amber said flatly. Lily ripped off her headphones. What did you do? Relax. It was an accident. I was taking a selfie and bumped your table. I pulled the laptop from the pool. Water poured from the keyboard. The screen was black. Mom. Lily's voice cracked. That's my laptop. I saved for 6 months. Amber shrugged. Get a better one next time. One that's actually waterproof. Jennifer appeared beside her daughter, assessing the situation. Accidents happen, Lily. You should be more careful about where you leave expensive things. She left it on the table, I said evenly. Away from the pool. Well, Amber said it was an accident, Jennifer replied. These things happen at pool parties. Maybe next time keep valuables inside. Lily looked at me, tears streaming down her face. Mom, my project. All my work. The client presentation is Monday. I set the dripping laptop on the table. We'll deal with it. I'm sure you have backups, Jennifer said dismissively. Everyone knows you're supposed to back up your work. She turned to Amber. Come on, let's get some food. They walked away toward the buffet table, Jennifer already laughing about something else. I stood there, water from the laptop pooling on the patio stones. Other relatives had witnessed everything but stayed silent, uncomfortable with confrontation. I watched them fill their plates. Watched Amber show her phone to cousins, probably the selfie she'd been taking. Watched Jennifer pile her plate high with my food while acting like nothing had happened. Mom. Lily whispered. What do we do? Let me think, I said quietly. The rest of the barbecue passed slowly. I served food, made small talk. Lily disappeared to her room. Jennifer mentioned 3 times that accidents are part of life. It's just a computer, Jennifer said as she was leaving. Tell Lily not to be so dramatic. After everyone left, I sat with Lily. She'd recovered what she could from cloud storage, but hours of work were gone. I can't finish the project without a computer, Lily said. I'll lose the client. They're paying me $500. We'll get you a new laptop tomorrow, I said. And we'll recover what we can. But Amber just destroyed it and walked away, Lily said, her voice breaking. Aunt Jennifer didn't even care. She blamed me for leaving it out. I pulled my daughter close. I know, baby. I know. That night, I sat in my home office with a glass of wine and opened my laptop. I pulled up property records and lease agreements. The building at 847 Commerce Street, downtown, a 3-story brick structure built in 1920. Jennifer's family business, Heritage Imports, occupied the entire second floor. They'd been there for 12 years. The building was owned by Westmont Properties LLC. I'd been negotiating to acquire it for 3 months as part of my commercial real estate portfolio expansion. The deal was scheduled to close in 2 weeks. I opened my email and found a message from my real estate attorney, dated last Tuesday. Seller accepted your offer. All contingencies cleared. We can expedite closing if you want to move faster. I'd planned to wait the standard 2 weeks. But circumstances had changed. I typed a response. Move the closing to Monday morning. Pay whatever is necessary to expedite. The attorney replied within minutes. We'll coordinate with title company. Should be able to close by 10 a.m. Monday. I pulled up the Heritage Imports lease agreement. Standard commercial lease, renewable annually. The current term expired December 31st. But there was a clause I'd noted during my due diligence. Occupancy permits and business licenses were tied to building ownership approval. New ownership had the right to review and approve all existing licenses within 30 days of acquisition. More importantly, the city required updated certificates of occupancy whenever commercial buildings changed hands. All existing businesses had to reapply, which typically took 3 to 5 business days. During that gap, businesses couldn't legally operate. I called my attorney Sunday morning. The building closes tomorrow at 10 a.m., he confirmed. Title transfers immediately. What's this about business licenses? I want all existing certificates of occupancy flagged for review the moment I take ownership, I said. I understand there's a reapplication period required by the city. Yes, usually 3 to 5 business days. Standard procedure with ownership transfers. Do you want me to file the paperwork immediately? Immediately, I confirmed. I want notices sent to all tenants by Monday afternoon. That's aggressive, he said carefully. Most new landlords give tenants courtesy notice before triggering the reapplication process. I'm not most landlords, I said. File everything Monday morning. Monday arrived hot and bright. I took Lily to the electronics store and bought her a better laptop than the one Amber destroyed, plus an external hard drive for backups and a waterproof case. $2,100 total. This is too much, Lily protested. You deserved the first one, I said. You deserve this one too. At 10:07 a.m., I signed the closing documents at the title company. 847 Commerce Street was now mine. Purchase price, $3.2 million. I owned it outright, no mortgage. By 10:45 a.m., my attorney had filed all the paperwork with the city. Business license review notices went out electronically to all tenants, including Heritage Imports. I was in a meeting at noon when Jennifer called. I let it go to voicemail. She called again at 12:30. Then at 1:15. Finally, I answered at 2 p.m. Sarah, I need to talk to you, Jennifer said, her voice tight. Something weird is happening with our business. What kind of weird? I asked. The city sent us a notice saying our occupancy permit expired this morning. They're saying we can't operate until we reapply and get approved. But we've been in that building for 12 years. Our permit has never expired before. That is strange, I said. The notice says it's because of a change in building ownership. But our landlord never said anything about selling. This came out of nowhere. I let the silence stretch. Sarah, are you there? I'm here. What does your lease say about ownership changes? I don't know. David's reading through it now. But Sarah, we can't close for 5 days. We have shipments coming in. We have clients expecting orders. This could cost us tens of thousands of dollars. Have you tried calling the new owner? I asked. We don't know who the new owner is. The notice just says, new ownership, and gives a legal entity name, Westmont Properties LLC. We've been trying to reach them all day. Maybe try the property management company, I suggested. We did. They said all questions go through the new owner, but they won't give us contact information. Sir, this is a disaster. We might lose our biggest client if we can't fulfill this week's orders. That sounds very stressful, I said. I hope you figure it out. You work in real estate, right? Can you help us figure out who bought the building? I can look into it, I said. Give me the address. She rattled off 847 Commerce Street. I'll see what I can find, I said. Thank you. I'm sorry to dump this on you. I know we haven't talked much since the barbecue. How's Lily? She's fine. Working on her project with her new laptop. Oh, that's good. I meant to ask about the old one. Could it be fixed? No. Complete loss. But we replaced it. That's good. Listen, I have to go. David's trying to reach the city again. Can you call me if you find anything about the building owner? Of course, I said and hung up. At 4 p.m. Jennifer called again. Sarah, the city won't expedite our permit. They said minimum 5 business days, possibly longer if there are any issues with our application. That's unfortunate, I said. We're going to have to close the business until this gets resolved. Sarah, this is going to cost us over $50,000 in lost revenue and penalties for late shipments. $50,000 because some mystery person bought our building and triggered this administrative nightmare. Have you talked to a lawyer? We have a call scheduled for tomorrow morning. But everyone says the city's within their rights. This is standard procedure for ownership transfers. Her voice cracked. Sarah, I don't know what to do. This could destroy our business. I'm sorry you're dealing with this, I said. That evening David called. Sarah, Jennifer said you work in commercial real estate. Is there any way to find out who bought our building? We need to talk to them directly. Westmont Properties LC, I said. That's the entity that purchased it. Do you know who's behind that LLC? David asked. I do actually. Can you give me their contact information? We desperately need to speak with them about expediting our permits. The contact information is on the notice you received, I said. But I can save you some time. I'm behind that. I bought your building. The silence was absolute. You what? David finally said. I purchased 847 Commerce Street on Monday morning. The ownership transfer triggered the mandatory permit review process. It's standard procedure. You bought our building? When? The deal closed this morning at 10 a.m. I heard Jennifer's voice in the background, sharp and panicked. David must have put me on speaker. Sarah, you knew this would shut down our business, Jennifer said. You knew about the permit process. I knew it was standard procedure for ownership transfers, yes, I said. And you did this anyway? You're deliberately destroying our livelihood. I'm following the legal requirements for property ownership, I said. The city mandates permit reviews. I don't control their timeline. That's bullshit, Jennifer snapped. You could have warned us. You could have worked with us on timing. You're doing this on purpose. Why would I do that? I asked calmly. Because of the laptop. Because of a stupid accident at a pool party. You're ruining our business over a computer. This has nothing to do with a laptop, I said. This is a commercial real estate investment. I've been planning this acquisition for months. You expect me to believe that's a coincidence? Jennifer's voice rose. That you just happened to buy our building 3 days after the barbecue? The closing was already scheduled, I said. I simply moved up the timeline. Because you're petty and vindictive, Jennifer said. Because Amber accidentally broke Lily's laptop and now you're punishing us. Amber deliberately destroyed a $1,400 laptop that Lily saved 6 months to buy, I said, my voice still level. You laughed it off and blamed Lily for leaving it out. You showed up at my home, ate my food, enjoyed my pool, and let your daughter destroy my daughter's property with 0 consequences. So you're shutting down our business? David said. Sarah, we employ 6 people. We have families depending on us. You're going to put them out of work over teenage drama. I'm exercising my rights as a property owner, I said. Your business will be fine once you complete the permit process. 5 business days isn't the end of the world. $50,000 is the end of the world for us. Jennifer shouted. We can't absorb that loss. We'll have to lay off employees. We might lose clients permanently. Then you should have built better relationships, I said. With your clients. With your family. With people who help you. Help us. Jennifer's laugh was bitter. When have you ever helped us? I hosted you in my home, I said quietly. I fed you. I welcomed your daughter even though she treats mine like garbage. And when she destroyed Lily's property, you defended her. You blamed Lily. You acted like it didn't matter because it was just a computer. Just a thing. Just teenage clumsiness. It was an accident. Was it? Because from where I stood, it looked like Amber picked up that laptop and dropped it in the pool deliberately. And you know what? It doesn't matter. What matters is that you had a choice in that moment. You could have held your daughter accountable. You could have apologized and offered to replace what she destroyed. Instead, you told Lily to get a better one next time. The silence stretched. So yes, I continued. Your permits expired this morning. Your business can't operate for 5 days while the city processes your reapplication. That's not me being vindictive. That's standard legal procedure that I'm simply not expediting for you. Which is my right as the property owner. Sarah, please, David said. We'll pay for the laptop. We'll make this right. Just help us with the permits. The laptop's already replaced, I said. Lily has a better one now. A $2,100 model since you asked. And as for the permits, I suggest you work with the city on their timeline. You're really going to do this? Jennifer said. You're really going to ruin us? I'm going to let you experience the consequences of your choices, I said. The same way Lily experienced the consequences when Amber destroyed her laptop and you refused to help. Who needs a better one now, Jennifer? I ended the call. Lily appeared in my office doorway. Was that Aunt Jennifer? Yes. Is she mad about something? I looked at my daughter, 14 years old, already learning that some people take until someone finally stops giving. She's upset about business issues, I said. Nothing for you to worry about. Lily held up her new laptop, the screen showing the completed logo design. I finished the project. The client loved it. They asked if I can do 3 more designs. That's wonderful, baby, I said. The new laptop is really good, Lily said quietly. Better than the old one. But I still wish Amber hadn't destroyed it. I know, I said. But sometimes people show you exactly who they are. And when they do, you believe them. My phone buzzed with a text from Jennifer. You've made your point. Now please be reasonable. I deleted it without responding. 5 business days was a long time to think about consequences. About choices. About the difference between accidents and deliberate cruelty disguised as carelessness. I turned back to Lily. Show me the designs the client wants. Let's talk about your rates for multiple projects. She sat beside me, excited and focused, already moving forward. Already better than before. Just like her laptop. The gift-wrapped box sat on the coffee table at my sister Linda's house. An art set for my daughter Emma's 9th birthday. Emma stood beside me as relatives gathered in the living room. My niece Madison walked straight to the table and picked up the wrapped package. What's this? Madison asked, even though she had watched me place it there minutes earlier. That's for Emma, I said evenly. It's her birthday present. Madison tore off the wrapping paper. Oh, art supplies. She looked at Emma with a smirk. Poor kids don't need expensive things like this. You wouldn't even know how to use them properly. Emma's face fell. Linda appeared from the kitchen, champagne glass in hand. Madison, what are you doing? Just checking Aunt Sarah's gift, Madison said. These are really nice. Way too nice for someone who doesn't take real art classes. I stood up. Madison, please put that down. It's not yours. Linda laughed, the sound sharp in the quiet room. Oh, Sarah, just let her have it. Madison is enrolled in private art lessons at the academy downtown. She'd get much more use out of professional supplies. She turned to her daughter. Go ahead, sweetie. Take it to your room. Other relatives shifted uncomfortably. My brother-in-law David didn't look up from his phone. My mother, sitting in the corner, examined her fingernails. Linda, that's Emma's gift, I said, keeping my voice level. I bought it specifically for her. And I'm sure you can get Emma something more appropriate for her skill level, Linda said, refilling her glass. Madison has real talent. She needs quality materials. You understand. Madison was already heading toward the stairs, the half-unwrapped box under her arm. Emma's hand found mine, squeezing tight. I could feel her trying not to cry. It's okay, baby, I whispered. We'll figure this out. Linda waved her hand dismissively. Don't be dramatic, Sarah. You've always been so sensitive about money. Just because you struggle doesn't mean you can't be generous to family members who'll actually appreciate nice things. My mother finally spoke up. Sarah, your sister has a point. Madison is very talented. Emma can have something else. I smiled quietly, the expression not reaching my eyes. Of course. Whatever you think is best. The rest of the party passed in a blur. Emma stayed close to me, barely touching her cake. Linda held court by the kitchen, describing Madison's art achievements and her summer program in Europe. The tuition is significant, Linda said loudly. 8,000 for 6 weeks in Florence. Not all of us can afford opportunities like that, obviously. I helped Emma gather her other gifts, mostly gift cards and books from relatives who had clearly spent minimal effort. We said our goodbyes early, claiming Emma had a headache. In the car, Emma finally let the tears come. Why did she take it, Mom? Why did Aunt Linda let her? I don't know, sweetheart, I said, gripping the steering wheel. Sometimes people make unfair choices. Madison called us poor, Emma said quietly. Are we poor? I glanced at my daughter in the rearview mirror. No, baby. We're not poor. We're just private about our finances. That night, after Emma fell asleep, I sat at my kitchen table with my laptop. I opened my banking app and found the recurring transfer, $3,400 monthly to David and Linda's mortgage account. I had started making their payments 6 years ago during David's unemployment crisis, when they faced foreclosure. Linda had begged for help, asking me to keep it private. Just until we get back on our feet, Linda had promised. David had found work within 8 months. They bought a new SUV 2 years ago and renovated their kitchen last year. But they never resumed mortgage payments. I clicked cancel on the recurring transfer. A confirmation box appeared. I thought of Emma's face when Madison grabbed that gift. I thought of Linda's laugh. I clicked confirm. The next morning I took Emma to the art supply store and bought her a better watercolor set, plus an easel and instructional books. My phone rang 3 times. Linda. I let it go to voicemail. Then David called. My mother called last. Sarah, your sister is trying to reach you, Mom said. Something about a banking error. I'm sure they'll sort it out, I said. I hung up and continued helping Emma with her art setup. By afternoon, Linda had left 4 voicemails. I waited until evening to call back. Finally, Linda snapped. Our mortgage payment bounced. The bank says there's no money in the account. That sounds stressful, I said. Can you help us? Loan us the payment amount. We'll pay you back. How much is your mortgage payment? I asked. $3,400. That's interesting, I said quietly. $3,400 exactly. Yes, why? No reason. That's just a specific number. Linda's voice took on the same edge it had at Emma's party. Sarah, this isn't the time for games. We need help. Family helps family, remember? Like yesterday? I asked. When Madison took Emma's gift and you laughed? Oh, for God's sake, you're still upset about that? This is about our house, Sarah. Our home. Madison having art supplies isn't the same as us losing everything. You're right, I said. It's not the same. Emma's feelings and Madison's entitlement to other people's belongings aren't the same as a mortgage payment. What are you saying? I'm saying that for 6 years, a mysterious payment of exactly $3,400 has been covering your mortgage every month. And as of yesterday, that payment stopped. The line went quiet. I could hear David's voice in the background, still arguing with someone at the bank. What are you talking about? Linda asked, but her voice had changed. Can you? I've been paying your mortgage since David's layoff, I said calmly. You asked me to help temporarily. That was 6 years ago. You never resumed payments. You never even mentioned it again. Sarah. Linda's voice cracked. We thought. You thought what? That the bank made an error in your favor, and kept making it for 6 years. We didn't know it was you. You didn't ask. You just enjoyed the extra $3,400 a month in your budget. The new car. The kitchen renovation. The Italy trip for Madison. David's voice came closer on Linda's end. Who is that? Is it the bank? It's Sarah, Linda said quietly. Sarah. David took the phone. Sarah, did you know about this mortgage thing? The bank says the payment source was an external account, but they won't tell us whose. It was mine, I said. I've been making your mortgage payments for 6 years. The silence was absolute. You've what? David finally said. And I stopped yesterday. After watching my daughter get humiliated at her own birthday party and having her gift stolen because apparently we're too poor to understand nice things. Sarah, that's not. Linda, what is she talking about? I heard Linda explaining in frantic whispers. Then David was back on the line. Look, whatever happened at the party, we can talk about that, David said. But you can't just stop paying our mortgage without warning. We have a child. We could lose our home. You have 30 days before anything serious happens, I said. That's standard for mortgage payments. And you could always liquidate some assets. Maybe cancel that Italy trip. That's $8,000 right there, more than 2 months of mortgage payments. That deposit is non-refundable, Linda said in the background. Then I guess you should have prioritized better, I said. Like teaching your daughter not to steal from her cousin because you've labeled us as poor. We never said you were poor. Linda protested. Madison did. And you laughed and agreed. You told me to let her have Emma's gift because we're too unsophisticated to appreciate nice things. You've spent 6 years enjoying an extra $3,400 every month while making comments about my financial struggles. We didn't know, Linda said. We thought you actually were struggling. I am a regional director at First National Bank, I said quietly. I make $340,000 a year. I've been paying your mortgage out of petty cash. I could buy your house outright and not notice the dent in my savings. The silence stretched so long I thought they'd hung up. You work at a bank? David finally said. I thought you were a teller. I'm the regional director. I oversee 47 branches across 3 states. The poor kid you've been pitying owns part of the financial institution that holds your mortgage. Linda made a choking sound. Here's what's going to happen, I continued. You're going to figure out how to pay your mortgage going forward. You're going to return Emma's art set. And Madison is going to apologize to Emma for stealing her gift and calling her poor. Sarah, please, Linda said. We can't afford the mortgage without your help. We've built our budget around having that extra money. Then build a new budget, I said. I've given you 6 years of free housing money. That's over $244,000. Consider it a gift. But it ends now. You can't do this, David said. We're family. Exactly. We're family. And family doesn't humiliate each other's children at birthday parties. Family doesn't steal gifts. Family doesn't spend years accepting financial help while mocking the person providing it. My phone beeped with another call. I glanced at the screen. James Whitmore, the mortgage department head at First National. I need to go, I said. That's my colleague calling, probably about your account. I'll tell him to proceed with standard late payment protocols. Wait. Linda shouted. Sarah, please. We'll apologize. Madison will return the art set. Just don't do this. The art set is irrelevant now, I said. Emma has a better one. What matters is that you've spent 6 years thinking you were better than me while I literally kept a roof over your heads. And yesterday, you looked at my daughter and decided she wasn't worthy of a birthday gift because we're too poor to appreciate nice things. We'll make it right, David said desperately. You'll make it right by learning to support yourselves, I said. Like adults. Like I've been doing while you've been playing with my money. I ended the call and answered James's line. Sarah, hi, James said. Sorry to bother you on a Sunday, but we've got a situation with the account ending in 7743. The automated payment failed and the account holders are claiming it's a bank error. They're asking to speak with management. It's not an error, I said. I was the payment source. I've canceled the transfer. Understood. Should I proceed with standard late payment procedures? Yes. And James? They're going to ask to speak with me specifically. Tell them I'm unavailable. Will do. Emma appeared in the doorway of my home office, holding up a watercolor painting she'd been working on. Mom, look. I made this. The painting showed 2 figures, clearly meant to be Emma and me, standing in front of an easel. The colors were bright and hopeful. It's beautiful, baby, I said, and I meant it. My phone buzzed with a text from Linda. Please call me. We need to talk about this. I deleted it without responding. Later that evening my mother called. Sarah, Linda told me what happened. Mom said. You've been paying their mortgage? For 6 years. And you never told anyone? They asked me not to. They wanted to keep it private. Mom was quiet for a moment. Linda says you're punishing her over a misunderstanding at Emma's party. It wasn't a misunderstanding, Mom. Madison stole Emma's gift while Linda watched and encouraged it. Then Linda spent the party talking about how some of us prioritize our children's education, implying I don't because we're poor. She didn't mean it that way. She meant it exactly that way. And she meant it while enjoying $3,400 of my money every single month. Family forgives, Mom said. Family also respects each other, I replied. And doesn't steal from children or mock the people who've been helping them for years. So you're just going to let them lose their house? I'm going to let them pay for their house. Like adults. Like I pay for mine. You're being cruel, Sarah. I'm being fair. I've given them $250,000. That ends now. I hung up before she could respond. 2 days later, Madison showed up at my door with the art set, still in its torn wrapping paper. Linda stood behind her on the porch, looking exhausted. I'm sorry I took Emma's present, Madison mumbled, not meeting my eyes. It was wrong. And? Linda prompted. And I'm sorry I said you were poor. I shouldn't have said that. Emma appeared beside me, looking at her cousin uncertainly. Thank you for apologizing, I told Madison. But Emma doesn't need this anymore. She has better supplies now. Linda's face crumpled. Sarah, please. We need to talk. We can't make the mortgage payment. The bank wants full payment plus late fees by Friday or they start foreclosure proceedings. Then you should make that payment, I said. We don't have it. Not without your help. Linda, you've had 6 years to save the money you should have been paying. You chose to spend it on other things instead. That's not my problem. You're really going to let us lose our home? Linda asked, tears streaming down her face. Over a birthday present? This isn't about the present, I said quietly. It's about respect. It's about 6 years of you accepting my help while looking down on me. It's about teaching your daughter that she's entitled to other people's belongings because they're too poor to deserve them. We'll pay you back, Linda begged. Every penny. We'll set up a payment plan. I don't want your money, I said. I want you to stand on your own feet and figure out your own finances. I closed the door gently while they stood on the porch. Emma looked up at me. Are they really going to lose their house? Probably not, I said honestly. They'll figure something out. They'll have to. That's what adults do. Through the window I watched Linda and Madison walk back to their car. Linda was on her phone, probably calling the bank again, still trying to find a solution that didn't involve actual responsibility. My phone buzzed with another text from David. You've made your point. Now please be reasonable. I turned off my phone and went to help Emma with her art project. She was working on a new painting, this one showing a girl standing tall and strong, paintbrush in hand. What are you calling this one? I asked. Emma smiled up at me. Worth it. I kissed the top of her head. Perfect title. The smell of roasting turkey filled the house as I set the dining room table for Thanksgiving. My daughter Lily, 8 years old, with dark curls and the brightest smile I'd ever seen, helped me fold napkins into neat triangles. She'd been practicing all week, wanting everything to be perfect for her first big family holiday with us. We'd finalized her adoption 6 months ago, and she was still learning that family meant safety, that home meant permanence, that love didn't come with conditions. Mom, should I put the fancy plates out? Lily asked, her small hands careful with the china. She had only recently started calling me Mom without hesitation, without that split-second pause where she'd wonder if she had the right. The fancy plates are perfect, sweetheart. I kissed the top of her head, watching her beam with pride. These small moments of confidence were hard-won. Her caseworker had warned us about the trauma, the attachment issues, the years of instability before she came to us. But here she was, taking ownership of our family traditions like she'd always belonged. My sister Amanda arrived first, sweeping through the door with her usual dramatic flair, barely knocking before entering. Her husband followed with their 2 biological children, twins who immediately headed for the living room without greeting anyone, tracking mud across the hardwood floors I'd just cleaned. Oh, you're using those plates? Amanda's nose wrinkled as she examined the table. I thought we agreed I'd handle the hosting this year. You offered to bring the desserts, I reminded her gently. We're hosting. Right, well, someone has to maintain standards. She glanced at Lily, who'd gone quiet beside me. Is she helping? That's sweet. The tone made my stomach tighten. That dismissive voice. Like Lily was a pet doing a trick rather than a child contributing to her family's celebration. My parents arrived next, my mother carrying her famous sweet potato casserole. She hugged me briefly before turning her attention to Amanda. Darling, you look wonderful. Have you lost weight? Mom, Lily, help set the table, I offered, guiding my daughter forward. My mother glanced down with a polite smile. That's nice, dear. Then she turned back to Amanda. Tell me about the twins' soccer tournament. Lily's hand found mine, squeezing tight. I squeezed back, a silent promise that I saw her, even if they didn't. My husband Marcus came downstairs from his office, where he'd been finishing a work call. He took in the scene with those observant eyes that missed nothing. His gaze lingered on Lily's downturned face before meeting mine. I saw the question there. I shook my head slightly. Not yet. Marcus, good to see you, my father said, shaking his hand. How's work treating you? Very well, sir. I'll tell you about it over dinner. As more family members arrived, the house filled with noise and activity. Amanda had somehow positioned herself as the de facto hostess, directing people to the living room, commenting on the appetizer arrangement, adjusting the thermostat without asking. I watched her move through the rooms with ownership, as if this were her domain rather than mine. She'd always done this, ever since we were kids. Whatever I had, she claimed authority over. The temperature is fine, Amanda, I said as she reached for the thermostat again. It's stuffy in here. You always keep it too warm. She turned it down 3 degrees. Marcus caught my eye from across the room and mouthed, "Let it go." But we both knew this was about more than temperature control. This was about Amanda's need to be in charge, to prove she had power in a space that wasn't hers. My uncle arrived with his new girlfriend, and Amanda immediately monopolized them, giving a tour of the house as if she'd chosen the paint colors and furniture placement. I heard her in the hallway. This is such a cozy family home. We've had so many memories here over the years. As if she paid the mortgage. As if she maintained the garden. As if this were communal property rather than the home Marcus and I built together. You know, Amanda said loudly to our cousin Jennifer, deliberately ensuring I could hear, it's so important to maintain family traditions. Some people think change is good, but I believe in preserving what matters. Her eyes flickered to Lily, who sat quietly in the corner with a picture book, trying to make herself small and unobtrusive. Some things should stay within the real family, you know? Bloodlines matter. Marcus appeared at my elbow. She's laying it on thick today. She always does. I kept my voice low. She thinks that because Mom and Dad helped with the down payment years ago, this is still their house to control. Interesting perspective, Marcus said mildly, given the paperwork I reviewed this morning. Before I could ask what he meant, Amanda called everyone to the table. Dinner's ready. Let's all sit down and be grateful for real family. The adults gathered around the large dining room table while the twins raced to claim seats. Lily started to follow me, her small hand reaching for the chair beside mine. Oh no, sweetie. Amanda intercepted her with a saccharine smile that didn't reach her eyes. Adopted kids sit at the kids' table. The room went quiet. Lily froze, her face draining of color. Amanda, I started, but she cut me off. It's just practical, she announced to the room. The kids' table is in the kitchen. It's where children belong. No offense to your situation, but we shouldn't disrupt seating arrangements for everyone else. My twins are sitting here, someone pointed out. They're family, Amanda said simply, as if that explained everything. Biological family has priority at family events. It's tradition. Lily started trembling. I could see it in her shoulders, the shaking that meant she was trying not to cry. 8 years old, and already she had learned that sometimes the people who should protect you are the ones who hurt you most. We'd worked so hard in therapy to build her sense of security, to help her believe she deserved love and belonging. My vision blurred with tears. 6 months of progress. 6 months of "you're my real daughter." 6 months of building trust, demolished in one casual cruelty. Before my tears could fall, Marcus stood. His chair scraped against the hardwood floor, the sound sharp in the silent room. His face was calm, almost pleasant, but I knew that expression. It was his courtroom face, the one he wore when he was about to dismantle an opponent's argument piece by piece. Interesting, he said, his voice conversational. Should I tell everyone who really owns this house? Fork stopped mid-bite. Amanda's smile froze. What are you talking about? My mother asked, confused. Marcus pulled out his phone with deliberate slowness. I'm talking about property ownership. Since we're discussing who belongs where and establishing hierarchy based on real family, I thought it might be relevant to clarify whose house this actually is. This is Mom and Dad's house, Amanda said, though her confidence wavered. They helped buy it. They contributed $15,000 toward a down payment 22 years ago, Marcus agreed. On a house that cost $180,000 at the time. My wife and I have been paying the mortgage, property taxes, insurance, and all maintenance for 2 decades. He scrolled through his phone. We refinanced 8 years ago under our names only. Your parents haven't held any ownership stake since then. My father's face had gone pale. Now, Marcus, we had an understanding. That this was a family home, yes, Marcus continued calmly. Which is why we've never mentioned that we own it outright. Why we've welcomed everyone for holidays without asking for rent or compensation. Why we've allowed certain people, his eyes landed on Amanda, to treat it as if they had any authority here. You're being ridiculous, Amanda snapped, but her voice shook. This is about a seating arrangement. No, Marcus said quietly. This is about my daughter. My real, legal, permanent daughter, whom you just told doesn't belong at the family table in her own house. He set his phone on the table, displaying a property deed. Here's the ownership record. Here's the mortgage statement showing our names only. Here are the property tax receipts we've been paying. Would you like to see the utilities? The homeowner's insurance? All in our names. Because this is our house. The silence was deafening. Lily, Marcus said gently, pulling out the chair beside him at the head of the table. This is your seat. Right here next to your dad. Lily looked at me, uncertainty in her eyes. I nodded, wiping away tears that were no longer from sadness. She walked slowly to Marcus, and he lifted her into the chair with gentle hands. Now, Marcus continued, his voice still calm but carrying steel underneath, let's discuss these seating arrangements. This is our home. Lily is our daughter. Not adopted daughter, not situation, not disruption. Our daughter. And in our home, our daughter sits wherever she wants. Marcus, please, my mother tried. There's no need to be hostile. I'm not being hostile, he said. I'm being clear. 4 years, we've allowed this family to treat this house as communal property. We never asked for rent when Amanda needed a place to stay for 3 months during her divorce. We never charged anyone when you needed to store furniture in our garage for a year. We've hosted every holiday without complaint or expectation of reciprocity. He looked around the table, meeting each person's eyes. But apparently our generosity has been mistaken for weakness. Our daughter, in her own home, has just been told she's not good enough to sit with her family. It wasn't like that, Amanda protested weakly. Then how was it? I finally found my voice. Explain to me how telling an 8-year-old adopted child that she doesn't count as real family isn't exactly what it sounded like. Amanda's face flushed red. You're too sensitive. She needs to understand reality. The reality, Marcus interrupted, is that you just insulted your host's child in their own home. The reality is that you've been playing Lady of the Manor in a house you have no claim to. The reality is that your parents have been acting like they have authority over a property they don't own. My father cleared his throat. Son, I think we all need to calm down. I am calm, Marcus assured him. I'm simply establishing facts since we're apparently doing that now. Fact, we own this house. Fact, Lily is our legal daughter with every right any biological child would have. Fact, this behavior is unacceptable. So what are you saying? Amanda's voice turned nasty. You're going to kick us out over a seating chart? I'm saying the free ride is over, Marcus replied. The assumption that you can walk into our home and treat our daughter as less than is over. The pretense that this is communal family property is over. He pulled Lily closer and she leaned against him, tears streaming down her face. But she wasn't shaking anymore. Here's what's going to happen, Marcus continued. Lily is going to sit at this table and eat Thanksgiving dinner with her family. Anyone who has a problem with that is welcome to leave. Anyone who wants to stay will treat her with the same respect they'd give any other child at this table. You can't be serious, Amanda said. Try me. Marcus's voice was mild, but the threat beneath it was unmistakable. This is our house. These are our rules. And rule number 1 is that our daughter is treated with respect and love, or you don't get to be here. My mother stood up abruptly. This is family, Marcus. You can't just... Can't what? Protect my daughter? Set boundaries in my own home? Expect basic human decency. He shook his head. Watch me. Mom, Dad, let's go, Amanda said sharply, grabbing her purse. We don't need to stay where we're not wanted. You're wanted, I said quietly, finding strength I didn't know I had. You're just not allowed to abuse my daughter anymore. If you can't tell the difference, then yes, please leave. Amanda stormed out, her family trailing behind her. My parents hesitated, caught between their daughters. She's right, my father said finally, looking at Lily with something like shame. The girl should sit with her parents. I'm sorry, sweetheart. He directed the last part to Lily, who peeked out from behind Marcus's arm. We handled this badly, my mother admitted, sitting back down slowly. I didn't realize. You didn't think about how your actions affected an 8-year-old child, I finished. That's the problem, Mom. You've all been so caught up in Amanda's drama and the twins' activities that you forgot Lily is family too. The remaining family members shifted uncomfortably. My cousin Jennifer spoke up quietly. I'm sorry, Lily. You should absolutely sit wherever you want. I brought an extra pie. Do you like pumpkin? Lily nodded, a small smile breaking through. Then you and I are going to split it after dinner, Jennifer promised. Slowly the tension eased. Dinner resumed with several empty chairs and a very different energy. Marcus kept Lily close, serving her food and making her laugh with silly jokes. By the end of the meal she was chattering about her school play and the adults were listening. Really listening. After everyone left, I found Marcus in our bedroom. Thank you, I whispered. For what? For protecting her. For standing up. For making it clear she belongs. She's our daughter, Marcus said simply. No one gets to treat her as less. Not in our home. Not anywhere. They really thought they owned this place, I marveled. All these years acting like we were guests. Not anymore. Marcus pulled out his laptop. I'm documenting everything tonight. New house rules, written boundaries. And if Amanda wants to host Thanksgiving next year, she can do it at her apartment. We might have just destroyed family relationships, I said quietly. No, Marcus corrected. We established what kind of family we are. The kind that protects our children. All of them. Regardless of biology. From down the hall, I heard Lily singing softly in her room, a sound we rarely heard. The shaking was gone. The fear was gone. In its place was the confidence of a child who just learned that her parents would move mountains to protect her. Some things are worth more than keeping peace. Some boundaries are worth defending. And some 8-year-old girls are worth burning bridges for. In our house, in our family, she would always have a seat at the table. The June sun beat down on the university's outdoor amphitheater as parents filled the rows of white folding chairs. I adjusted my camera, making sure I had the perfect angle to capture my son Daniel walking across that stage. After 4 years of late nights, scholarship applications, and working 2 part-time jobs while maintaining a 3.8 GPA, this moment belonged to him. I'd watched him struggle through calculus at 2 a.m., seen him choose studying over social events. Around me, other parents chatted excitedly, comparing notes on graduation parties and future plans. Somewhere in that sea of blue and gold caps and gowns, my son was preparing to walk across the stage and officially become a college graduate. Is this seat taken? My sister Monica appeared with her son Brandon trailing behind her, his eyes glued to his phone. She wore oversized sunglasses and carried a designer purse I knew she couldn't afford. It's saved for Daniel's girlfriend, but you can squeeze in. I moved my purse, already feeling my excitement dim slightly. Monica settled in with a dramatic sigh. Brandon's exhausted. He had 3 job interviews this week. That's great, I said absently, watching the graduates begin to line up in their caps and gowns. I spotted Daniel's broad smile even from a distance. It would be greater if any of them actually hired him, Monica continued. The market is so unfair to young people. Not everyone can have connections like some people. I ignored the pointed comment. Monica had spent the last 20 years implying that any success in my life was somehow unearned or lucky, while her struggles were noble and righteous. The ceremony began with the usual speeches about bright futures and changing the world. When they started calling names, I stood with my camera ready. Daniel Martinez, graduating summa cum laude, Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering. My son walked across that stage like he owned it. The pride swelling in my chest made it hard to breathe. As he accepted his diploma, I thought about all the times I'd found him asleep at the kitchen table, textbooks spread around him, determination etched into every feature. After the ceremony, Daniel found me in the crowd, his girlfriend Emma beside him. "Mom, I did it." I pulled him into a hug, not caring that I was crying. "I'm so proud of you, sweetheart." "Let me see that diploma," Monica said, pushing forward, Brandon still on his phone behind her. "Oh, summa cum laude." "Well, computer engineering is one of the easier technical degrees, isn't it?" Daniel's smile faltered slightly. "It's actually one of the more competitive programs." "If you say so." Monica turned to Brandon. "Put that phone away. Show some respect for your cousin's participation trophy." Emma squeezed Daniel's hand, her jaw tight. I knew that look. She'd been there through every all-nighter, every rejected internship before he finally landed one, every moment of doubt. "We're heading to Mario's for lunch," I announced. "My treat. Emma's parents are meeting us there." "Oh, we're coming too," Monica decided. "Brandon needs a good meal. He's been living on ramen because of his job search." At the restaurant, I'd reserved the private room and ordered Daniel's favorite dishes in advance. The space was decorated with congratulations banners, and I'd arranged for a small cake to be brought out after the meal. The tables were set with care, white linens and real flowers in small vases. I wanted everything to be perfect for Daniel's celebration. He deserved this moment after years of hard work. As we settled around the table, the waiter brought water and menus. Monica immediately complained about the parking, the temperature of the room, and the chair cushions. Brandon stayed on his phone, thumbs scrolling endlessly, not even glancing at the menu or acknowledging anyone. Emma's parents arrived with a wrapped gift, their faces beaming with pride. "For the graduate," her father said warmly. "We know you'll do great things." Daniel opened it to find a leather portfolio and a gift card. His eyes widened. This is really generous. Thank you so much." "It's for your professional wardrobe and interview expenses," Emma's mother explained. "Starting a career has costs." $500. Daniel read the gift card amount quietly, overwhelmed. I pulled out my own envelope. "This is from me, honey. I know you've been looking at that certification course." Daniel opened it and his eyes filled with tears. Inside was a $1,000 gift card to the educational platform where he'd been eyeing an advanced programming certification. "Mom, this is too much." "You earned every penny," I said firmly. "You've worked so hard." "Wow, must be nice," Brandon said suddenly, finally looking up from his phone. "Some people get handed everything." "Brandon worked hard too," Monica added. "Nobody's giving him gift cards." The table fell silent. Emma's parents exchanged uncomfortable glances. "Daniel worked 2 jobs through college," Emma said quietly but firmly. "He earned scholarships. Nobody handed him anything." "I'm just saying networking matters more than grades," Brandon shrugged. "It's not what you know, it's who you know." Before I could respond, Brandon reached across the table and snatched the gift card from Daniel's hands. "I deserve this. I've been job hunting for months while Golden Boy here probably already has offers lined up." Everyone stared in shock. Then Monica laughed. "Oh, Brandon, you're terrible." My brother James chuckled nervously. "Come on, give it back." "Let it go," Monica waved her hand dismissively. "It's just money. Daniel will make plenty in his fancy tech job. Brandon needs it more." Brandon pocketed the card with a smirk, meeting Daniel's stunned gaze. "Thanks, cousin. I'll put it to good use." I watched my son's face crumble. This was supposed to be his day. 4 years of sacrifice, choosing textbooks over parties, working while others played, and his own family was laughing while his cousin stole from him. I stood up calmly and walked over to Daniel. I hugged him tightly, feeling his shoulders shake. "Fine," I said quietly. "Let it go." Emma looked at me in disbelief. Her parents seemed ready to intervene, but I gave them a small shake of my head. Daniel pulled away, wiping his eyes, trying to maintain composure. "See? Your mom gets it," Monica said cheerfully. "It's not worth fighting over. Family harmony is more important than money." The rest of lunch was strained. Daniel barely touched his food. Brandon kept his phone out, occasionally smirking. Monica talked endlessly about how expensive Brandon's apartment was, how tough his job market was, how he deserved a break. When we finally left the restaurant, Emma pulled me aside in the parking lot. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across the pavement. Other families were leaving too, happy and celebrating. Our group stood in tense silence near our cars. "How could you let him do that?" "Daniel's heartbroken," Emma said, her voice tight with anger and confusion. "That was theft. In front of everyone." And they laughed. "Trust me," I said simply, placing a hand on her shoulder. I could see Daniel standing by my car, shoulders slumped, the joy completely drained from what should have been one of the best days of his life. That night, after Daniel had gone to bed early, his celebration thoroughly ruined, I sat at my laptop in my home office. The house was quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator and distant traffic. I opened my email and found the message I'd been copied on 3 weeks earlier, back when I'd thought I was doing something kind for family. Subject: Brandon Walsh, final round interview, junior marketing position. I'd made a few calls after Monica mentioned Brandon's job search at a family dinner last month. She'd gone on for 20 minutes about how hard he was trying, how the market was unfair, how no one gave young people chances anymore. The hiring manager at the firm was someone I'd worked with years ago when I was consulting. Patricia had respected my judgment then and trusted my professional assessment. When I heard they had an opening, I mentioned Brandon, vouched for his potential, despite having no real knowledge of his work ethic or character, and they fast-tracked him through the process based solely on my word. The final interview was supposed to be Monday. It was a good position too, $55,000 starting salary, full benefits, room for growth into senior roles. Monica had said it was Brandon's dream opportunity at his dream company. He'd apparently been researching the firm for months, preparing responses, planning his career trajectory. I stared at the screen for a long moment, thinking about Daniel's face when Brandon snatched that gift card. The humiliation. The confusion. The hurt. Then I thought about Monica's laughter, her casual dismissal of theft as if family loyalty meant tolerating abuse. I began typing, each word deliberate and final. "Dear Patricia, I hope this email finds you well. I need to withdraw my recommendation for Brandon Walsh for the junior marketing position. After further consideration and recent interactions, I cannot in good conscience vouch for his character or professionalism. I apologize for any inconvenience this may cause to your hiring process. Please cancel his scheduled interview. Best regards." I attached a brief note. "I take full responsibility for this candidate. The position can be cancelled." I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Then I closed my laptop and went to check on Daniel. He was still awake, staring at the ceiling. "Mom." His voice cracked. "Why did you let him do that?" "Because some lessons need to be learned," I said, sitting on the edge of his bed like I had when he was small. "And some people need to understand that actions have consequences." "I don't understand." "You will. Get some sleep, graduate. Tomorrow's a new day." Monday morning I was making coffee when my phone exploded with calls. Monica's name flashed across the screen 5 times in a row before I finally answered. "What did you do?" she screamed. "What did you do to Brandon?" "Good morning to you too," I said calmly, sipping my coffee. "The company called him. They cancelled his interview. They said someone withdrew their recommendation and they no longer have confidence in his candidacy. This was his dream job. He's been preparing for weeks." "Oh no," I said flatly. "That's terrible. You did this. You had to have done this. You're the only one with connections at that firm." "Am I? I thought networking didn't matter. I thought it was all about hard work and merit. This is different. You sabotaged him. Over a stupid gift card. Let it go, Monica. It's just a job. Brandon will find plenty of opportunities with his impressive qualifications. Family harmony is more important than a job, right?" The silence on the other end was deafening. "You said it yourself," I continued, still calm. "Some people need it more than others. Daniel needed that gift card for his certification. Brandon apparently needed a lesson more than he needed that position. You're destroying his future over nothing." "No. Brandon destroyed his opportunity when he decided that stealing from his cousin on his graduation day was acceptable. And you enabled it by laughing. You want to know why Brandon can't get hired? Because entitlement doesn't look good in interviews. Because companies don't want employees who think they deserve things they didn't earn. I'll tell everyone what you did." "Please do. Tell them how I helped arrange an interview for your son as a favor." Tell them how he stole from Daniel at his graduation. Tell them how you laughed and said it was just money. Then tell them how shocked you are that I decided my professional reputation shouldn't be attached to someone who behaves that way. I could hear Brandon in the background, his voice rising in panic. The company said they're blacklisting him from future applications. Monica's voice broke. They said recommendation withdrawals go in their permanent files. He can't ever apply there again. That does sound serious, I agreed. Almost as serious as stealing from a family member and having your mother defend it. But I'm sure Brandon will land on his feet. He's so talented and hardworking according to you. Please, Monica's tone shifted to pleading. Call them back. Fix this. I'll make Brandon apologize. He'll give the gift card back. The gift card isn't the point, Monica. The lesson is. Brandon is 23 years old. It's time he learned that being family doesn't mean freedom from consequences. It's time he learned that opportunities are earned, not stolen. And it's time you learned that enabling his behavior doesn't help him. You're cruel. No, I'm a mother protecting her son. And I'm someone who values integrity over comfort. You taught Brandon that taking from others was acceptable as long as it benefited him. I'm teaching him differently. I hung up before she could respond. Daniel emerged from his room, having obviously heard my side of the conversation. Mom? What happened? Brandon had a job interview today. He doesn't anymore. Understanding dawned on his face. You got him that interview? I made a call. I thought I was helping family. Then I realized I was about to help someone who doesn't respect what others work for. So I unmade the call. He's never going to work at that company now? Nope. They take recommendation withdrawals very seriously. It's in their permanent system. But there are other companies. He'll find something eventually when he grows up. Daniel was quiet for a long moment. Then he hugged me tightly. Thank you for standing up for me. Always, sweetheart. Always. My phone buzzed with a text from Emma. Did you do what I think you did? I replied, let it go. It's just a job. She sent back a series of laughing emojis and one sentence. Savage. I love it. The family group chat exploded throughout the day. James tried to mediate. My mother called to scold me. Monica sent paragraph after paragraph about family loyalty and forgiveness. I responded to the group chat once. Brandon stole from Daniel on his graduation day. Monica laughed and told us to let it go because it was just money. I let it go. Now she can let this go because it's just a job. Fair is fair. Then I muted the chat. That evening, Daniel started his certification course, purchased with the gift card Emma's parents had given him. He tried to return mine, but I refused. Use it for books or food or whatever you need. It's yours. As I watched him settle into his studies with renewed determination, I felt no regret. My phone buzzed one more time. Monica again. You've torn this family apart. I typed back. No, I just stopped pretending theft and entitlement are acceptable because we share DNA. There's a difference. I blocked her number and returned to my evening. Tomorrow, Daniel would start applying to the jobs he'd earned the right to pursue. Brandon would hopefully learn that actions have consequences. And Monica would learn that being family doesn't mean unlimited tolerance for bad behavior. Some lessons are expensive, but they're worth every penny.